Welcome back, No Business Soccer Podcast, fam. And today we are going over La Liga for our 2025-2026 preview. Guys, it is almost time, so let's just get at it. Snooze, kick us off.
Let's dig in. Yes, it's almost time to get started, time to get it done. And you know what it is. It's the No Business Soccer Podcast. I am your host, Snooze, and we're here with the full family, J-Fam in the back, the Brainiac, and of course, Danny P on the ones and twos, but everybody is here to see Hype Man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well, I'll tell you what I have today, and it's for two reasons. What I have is a good old Hibiki, Japanese whiskey. First reason being that it's 43% alcohol, which one of the lowest alcohol by volumes that I have.
Yes.
We're doing 4 of these today, so
it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2, because your boy's going to Japan next month, so I'll be there. And, I'm getting a little taste of it. And what you guys are getting a little taste of this podcast. And if you like it, go ahead and like and subscribe, because that's the way you get more of it. And it also tells YouTube that, hey, these guys are pretty cool. Maybe other people want to listen to them as well. So while you do that, cheers, everyone. Go ahead and hit that like. Ready? Ding. A little bit of a ding there. And hit that subscribe. Double ding.
Double dinger.
Yeah.
And today we're going over La Liga, as my boy said earlier. We're going to be talking about all the teams, how they did last season, a lot of good information, and all within an hour. We're trying to stick to maybe 3 minutes a team, try to get you out of here on time for school, kids. We already went through the teams that were promoted. That would be Elche, Levante, or Levantate, as Hype Man says, and Real Oviedo. Those are on our back-to-school program. They happened a couple weeks ago, so check it out. If you want, we should do like a click here or whatever, that type of thing.
It's got to be.
But yeah, we did an episode with all of the teams that were newly promoted in the top 4 leagues that we cover. So it's just the other teams from last season. Okay. And now I think without further ado, let's go to Spain.
Let's do it. To La Liga. Oh, I miss it. That's good. It's good to hear again. And in La Liga, we will just go through this alphabetically, starting with Atletico Bilbao, or athleticclub. Last year, they finished 4th. They had 54 goals for, which was 7 less than they had the year prior. And they had 29 goals against, which is a clear 8 goals better than they had the year prior.
And yes, they get into the top 4 in the Champions League for the first time in a while, and they were comfortably in that top 4 spot most of La Liga season. That they would tell you though that the end goal was to win the Europa League at home. It was at San Mamés, and they did not achieve that. But it's on to bigger and better things. They're in the Champions League this time around, and of course, all was going according to plan until they lost to Manchester United in the semis, and that was kind of the downfall for them. But overall, good season for Athletic Club.
Yes, sir. And they are headed by Ernesto Valverde. He's also from España. He's been there since 2022. And their key players that they had last year, the top scorer was Oihan Sunset. He was 25-year-old, of course, from Spain. Attacking midfielder, had 15 goals and 1 assist. And their assist leader that they had last year was actually 2 of them. Alex Berenguer. I was almost there. And Inaki Williams, it's a little bit easier. Both had 8 assists and 6 goals, so twinsies for them.
And Inaki Williams' brother, Nico Williams, 23-year-old Spanish left winger. He had 5 goals and 5 assists for him, and he's the player to watch. He's the one that you've probably seen if you've watched any of the Euros from the last summer. And Williams, he didn't have his best season in 24-25, but he just won the Euros and got off to a slow start because, it was a grueling summer. And this summer, he snubbed Barcelona to sign a new contract and stay with Athletic Club. So let's get it. Let's go. Their odds of winning La Liga are plus 5,000. To finish in the top 4, plus 175. Not bad for a team that hasn't done it in a while. But word on the street for them in a down year for Nico Williams and having Oihan Sunset. That's a tough one to say. I want to say it's Oihan, but it might be Ohan. I don't know. No. But Sunset, we'll just call him Sunset. He was injured for a portion of the season. And there were a couple of results that were slipping through the cracks because at the end of the campaign, they were only caring about the Europa League. They still managed to finish top 4. So with hopefully better years from Sunset and Williams. The odds have them finishing fourth again, but realistically, until I see them catch the big three, I think they're going to stay at fourth or maybe a little below. But I think the odds have it on for fourth, and I think Bilbao gets back into the Champions League. If they don't win it, who knows? Maybe they win it.
Yeah, well, we will see. We will see, and we will keep it moving along. Speaking of big three, the next team we're going to talk about is Atletico Madrid. Last year, they finished third place. They had 68 goals for, which was 2 less than the year prior, actually. But they did a little bit better on defense. They had 30 goals against, which was 13 better than the year prior.
And Atletico showed why they're one of the big three last season in Spain, as they didn't particularly have a great season, but they were still that much better than the teams in La Liga, the other teams, to end up in third. And they were inconsistent. They had to come back against a lot of teams they shouldn't have been down to in the first place. But it was a weird year for them, and they're right back in the thick of it. Last season in the Champions League, they finished fifth in the league phase table, and then they lost to their arch nemesis Real Madrid in the round of 16. And they are back in the Champions League, though, so hopefully they can get over the hump.
Yes, sir. And they are headed up by the Argentine Diego. I'm thinking Diego. R.I.P. Diego Simeone, right? Simeone, or is it Simeone?
Yeah, Simeone.
El Cholo. He's been there since 2011. One of the longer tenured coaches, not only in the world, but not only in La Liga, but the world. The top scorer from last season is Alexander Sørloth. He's a 29-year-old center forward from Norway. He had 20 goals and 2 assists last year. And then, of course, their assist leader for last year is Antoine Griezmann. The 34-year-old Frenchman had 7 assists and also had 8 goals. Always great when your leading assist guy has more goals than assists.
Yeah, it tells you kind of how he's done. Griezmann's been there for a while, though. The player to watch going into the season for sure is Alex Baena, 24-year-old Spanish left winger, 7 goals and 10 assists with Villareal last season. And Baena comes in after having a terrific season with Villareal. They had a great season overall. He was part of a really good attacking side. It's a big money move for Atleti, and he should help improve their goals going forward, their attack going forward. Instantly. I mean, instantly this guy will make an impact. To win Serie A, their chances are +8, or their odds are +800. To finish in the top 4, -500. So everybody's definitely seeing them finish there at minimum. And the word on the street for this team, Atleti bring in Baena, Cardosa, and Thiago Almada from attacking side, and a plethora of defending options as well. It feels like they're loading up for this season and also getting younger for the future. Kind of cool to see an Atleti side do this. Odds have them finishing in third, and they plan to catch. And if they plan to catch Barca and Real, they'll need those signings to come good and address the inexplicable losses, lower table opposition. For some reason, they had a knack for losing to them. And yeah, I think they'll finish third, but maybe these signings can push them further up.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see going forward. I don't think either of us can talk right now, Snooze, but we will keep moving forward with our next team we're going to be going over, and that is Osasuna. Osasuna finished 9th place last year. They had 48 goals for and 52 against. They did better overall with 3 more goals and 4 less goals given up.
And outside of the 22-23 season, they finished 9th through 11th for the past 5 years, Osasuna has. So this past season was no difference. They finished in 9th, right? They had a run of 18 games in the middle of the season where they won only 1 time. So in 1 win in 18 matches, it's not good. I don't know how they finished in the top 10, but they find a way to get it done. And let's just leave it at that for now. I don't want to spoil it.
No worries. They're headed up by the Italian Alessio Leschi. I want to say it's Leschi, right? Because don't they do that?
Maybe Lisci? I don't know. That's
because it's like I found out bruschetta is actually bruschetta, and that's an SC. So maybe it's a Lisci.
So Lisci.
Lisci, yeah. But he joined this past summer after Vicente Moreno informed Osasuna that he would be leaving at the conclusion of the season last year. So, but the key players that Osasuna have from last year, their top scorer was Ante Budimir, the 34-year-old Croatian. Center forward, had 21 goals and 4 assists. Absolutely amazing. We all remember that name. And their assist leader from last season is Brian Zaragoza, the 23-year-old Spaniard left winger, had 6 assists and tacking on 1 goal to go with it.
Yeah, Ante Budimir is definitely one of the the No Business Soccer podcast boys. Like, he's awesome to watch whenever he's on his game, but he's not the player to watch for this team. That is going to Aymar Aros. We called him out last season. He's a 23-year-old Spanish attacking mid, 5 goals and 4 assists last season. And he's been a full-time starter for Osasuna for 4 years. And when I say he's 23, so like he was 19 years old starting for this team, and he still hasn't had a true breakout season yet. I believe, I mean, he's going into a season where he's going to turn 24. So this is a make or break season for him. And if he's just going to be a decent attacking mid, that's fine. But can he make that leap? We will find out. To win Serie A, plus 50,000. That means they're not going to win it. To finish in the top 4, plus 2,000. To be relegated, though, plus 350. So that is the 6th best odds to be relegated. Worst, I mean, it's not worse, a good thing, but yeah. And so looking overall, word on the street, odds have them finishing. If you look at the data, it's 11 through 13. But I mean, like I said, they had a down year overall and finished in 9th. I don't think that they can keep it up. A new manager, no new real talent coming in, and I think that a slide is inevitable. I don't see them being in the relegation scrap maybe, but I can definitely see them being probably 11, 13. I say probably 15, 16, something like that, which is relegation. So I guess, whatever.
We'll see. Osasuna supporters definitely looking for a whole bunch of bright side next year. So we will see. And we will keep moving forward with our next team we're going to be going over, which is Celtavigo. Celtavigo finished 7th last year. They had 59 goals for, which was 13 more than the season prior, giving them 5th overall, which is pretty good. And goals against they had was 57, which was the exact same amount as they had the year prior.
And yeah, you can see from their goals and goals against totals, they were an attacking team, and it showed by their results as well, not just only in the numbers there. Celta won 16 games, but they lost 15, which was by far the highest of the top 9 in the table. But they did get into Europe, and Iago Aspas is a club legend, helping them to get there. It was a great sign. All at the end of the season, seeing him being cheered for, thrown up in the air is awesome to see. They didn't play in European competition last season, but they will be in the Europa League this season.
Yes, sir. And they're headed up by Claudio Giraldes. I believe I said that right. The Spaniard, he's been there since last year, 2024. And their top scorer from last season, their key players that they had, Borja Iglesias, 32-year-old Spaniard, I keep saying center fielder, center forward, had 11 goals and 3 assists. And it's because we have a CF instead of like it's spelled out.
It's spelled out, yeah. Being
Americans, we're always saying center fielder. Sorry, you guys. I'll fix it. But yeah, 11 goals and 3 assists. And the assist leader that they had from last season is Oscar Mingueza. The 26-year-old Spaniard, right back, had 6 assists and 4 goals to tack on with him.
Player to watch for this team, though, Williat Svedberg. It's a good left winger for Celta. There are rumors that Diego Luna might be going there from the MLS, though. So if he goes over to Celta, obviously he becomes instantly the player to watch. But for right now, Svedberg is the guy to watch for that team. Which is crazy. I mean, when I saw that rumor, I was like, what? That is so random. Anyway, it'd be cool. To win Serie A, their odds plus 20,000. To finish in the top 4, plus 800. Not bad. To be relegated, though, plus 1,400. And I think that they're closer to being safe for that. Word on the street for this team, odds have Celta finishing between 7th and 8th. And if they can turn some of the losses that they took last season into draws, just not even wins, just draws, I think they can push to get into Europe again. And if they don't, then I think, if they win the Europa League, they'll be back in anyway. So we'll see.
Yes, sir. We will see. And if Diego Luna does go to Celta Vigo, that is my next kit I'm buying. The Diego Luna Celta Vigo kit. For sure. That'd be awesome. But moving forward, we will go on to our next team, which was Deportivoalavés. Alaves finished 15th last year. They had 38 goals, which was 2 more than the year prior, but they also gave up 2 more with 48 goals against last season.
Yeah, and just real quick for this team, if you look at their kits, pretty decent, but for some reason their third kit is like a forest on it with like a tower. I don't know.
It looked like
someone from. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it looks like the Portland Timbers kit.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Someone, if you're from Alaves or you know more about that part of Spain, let us know. Is it like forest terrain? I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, last season, it was a tale of 2 halves for Alaves as they lost 9 of their first 14 matches and then only lost 3 in their final 10. So kind of split here and there. It was a big dip in the table from finishing 10th in 23-24 to finish in 15th this past season, though. So They got to get some action. Pick it up, Alaves.
Yes, we will see. And they are led by coach Eduardo Caudet from Argentina. He's been there since last year, 2024. And some of the key players, the last season's top scorer was Quique Garcia. He was a 35-year-old Spaniard center forward. He had 13 goals last season. And their assist leader was Carlos Vincente, 26-year-old Spaniard right winger, had 5 assists and 5 goals as well.
And look, I'm going to leave up the choosing of the player to watch to our deportivoalavés fans because, just let us know. How about that? We'll just say that. But what I will say is Quique Garcia is 35 years old. I'm older than him. That dude looks like he's 50. I mean, he's like balding and he looks old but he's still playing for La Liga and banging in 13 goals. So anyway, it's weird how it works that way. Like, why do I look like a child at 36, but he looks like a grown ass man at 35? Anyway, okay, moving on. Their odds to win La Liga plus 50,000, to finish in the top 4 plus 3,000, to be relegated plus 275. Which, they're not looking too good. Word on the street for Alaves: odds have them finishing 15th, just above the promoted teams and a couple others. And there's not a ton to love here. They lost their top scorer from last season to 35-year-old Quique Garcia, like we were just talking about, and they haven't really replaced the 13 goals that he brought in or he banged in. Wouldn't be surprised to see them flirting with relegation. Excuse me. So I can see them dipping into that 16, 17 place and trying to fight to stay into La Liga for the following season.
Yep, going to be probably mid-table finish, but we will see what happens with them. And we will keep moving on with our next team. Actually, it should be Elche, but as Snoo said earlier, we already covered them in our Welcome to the League episode. Please go check that out and then come back here. That leads us to FC Barcelona, or Barcelona, as everyone knows. Barcelona, of course, finished first last season. They had 102 goals for, which was 23 more than the year prior. If you scored 23 more goals, 23 more goals. That's English. There we go. Then any year you're going to be doing great things. And they also had 39 goals against, which was 5 fewer than the year before. Incredible stats. And yeah, they were number 1 for a reason.
Yeah, they were the most dominant team in Europe for about 95% of the season. And I don't mean just in La Liga. I mean the Champions League as well. I mean overall in Europe. Just about everything went right for Barca last year. Their first year under Flick, Rafinha turned into a genuine Ballon d'Or contender. Lamine Yamal fully broke out as one of the world's best talents. The only blemish was them losing to Inter in the semifinals of the Champions League. And they looked destined to win the treble. But Inter took care of them in the semis, and they will be back in the Champions League going for that trophy because, of course, they won La Liga last year.
Yes, sir. And Snooze said Hansi Flick is their coach. The German started last year, and what a great first year for him. Their leading scorer from last season, key players that we had, Robert Lewandowski, the 36-year-old Polish man, center forward, had 27 goals and 2 assists. Great numbers for him. And, of course, the assist leader from last season, everybody knows his name now, Lamine Yamal, the teenager still. He's 18 years old, from España. Right winger, had 9 goals and 15 assists. But when you rewatch him play, it seemed like way, way more than that. Great
I know. When I saw that he only had 9 goals last year, I was like, what?
Yeah.
It felt like he was scoring every game. But, of course, this is just talking about the La Liga goals because it is the La Liga preview. So the player to watch, though, for Barca, like, pick one. It could be Rafinha, it could be Yamal, it could be Pedri, it could be Olmo. Just pick one. To win, this one is the craziest to me. So to win La Liga is a plus 120. To finish in the top 4, minus 5,000. So obviously they're going to finish there. We know them; they always do. The crazy thing is, for a team that was so dominant, they come in as slight underdogs. But to Real Madrid, obviously, it would be the only other team. But that just blows my mind. They only brought in Rashford and Joan Garcia, the goalkeeper, from their mortal enemies, Espanyol, by the way. But this team is so young and talented, and they really don't need to do much to be where they were last season. I'm keeping Barca as favorites, and I can't believe that Real Madrid are the favorites with a new coach, but we'll talk about them later. Anyways, I can't believe that they're not odds favorites to win La Liga, but they have them second. So that's where they have them.
Yeah, I'll join you on that. I got them favorites to win. Also, I got to hate watch Real Madrid this year, so it's all right. But we can go ahead and move on. Going forward, our next team we're going to be talking about is Getafe. Getafe finished 13th last season. They had 34 goals for, which was 8 less than they had the year prior. But they had a better defense with 39 goals against, which was 15 less than the year prior. Not bad.
Yeah, it was a strange season for Getafe where they won 11 matches, but they lost 18. The only teams to have more losses on the year were relegated Las Palmas and Valladolid. And all of that said, they had the fourth best defensive record in the freaking league last year. Make it make sense, please. It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. So anyway, I'll stop.
Yeah, no worries. No worries. Their coach is Jose Bordales. He's a Spaniard. Been there since 2023, so 2 years ago in there, and he continues to go. Their top scorer last season is Morao Arambari. Pretty sure I said that. He's a Uruguayan, 29-year-old center midfielder. He had 10 goals last year. And their assist leader is Cristantas Uche. Did I say that right? Cristantas?
Yeah.
Cristantas Uche. But he's a Nigerian, 22-year-old Nigerian. He's attacking midfielder. He had 6 assists and then also tacked on 4 goals to go with him.
Yeah, and he's the player to watch for sure. In the first season with Getafe and his first time in La Liga, he led the team in assists, as we just talked about. But there's, going into this season with more experience, I'm looking forward to seeing how he does and how he grows from there. Because if there's one thing that we know, having the fourth best defensive record and the 19th goals in goals for, you need some more goals on that team. And maybe Uche is that guy. So their odds, obviously they're not going to win La Liga. Finishing in the top 4 is a plus 2,500. To be relegated is a plus 400. So that's kind of where teams are seeing them. Now they do bring in a couple of new players. They brought in Juanmi from Real Betis, who we've seen for a bit. They also bring in a couple of other defensive players. No one of note, I guess we can say. But hey, they're trying to bring some bodies in. We'll put it that way. Word on the street for Getafe. They've made some moves in the summer, like I was just talking to you about. Odds have them finishing 14th, and I think that's probably about right. I have a sneaky feeling about them, though. I'm not saying that I love their squad at all. That's not what I'm saying. But if they can keep that defensive record up, right, you can't be that high on the defensive side and not start to get some luck breaking your way. For 2 seasons in a row, of course, doing it is harder than saying it. But if they can just bag 5 to 10 more goals, then I think that's good enough to bring them up to mid-table. And I'm just saying, defense wins championship, Victor. So maybe that's what they do here.
That's right. And we will see, because 19th best, probably not going to go far for goals for in any
Also,
season.
I love their kits, by the way. I know I showed you earlier. Their kits are awesome. It's like the inverse on all 3 of them. They're home, away, and third kits. And I don't know. I just like them. So shout out.
Pretty nice. All right, and we will keep it going with our next team, which is Girona. Girona FC finished 16th last year. They had 44 goals for, which was tied for 9th best, which is actually 41 goals less than the year prior, which is insane.
40 freaking one. Insane.
Yeah, you had 41 goals less, and you're still tied for 9th for the most goals for. That's pretty crazy, but
pretty good.
Goals against, it was 60, which was actually 18th in the league. So they had 14 more goals against than the year prior.
Yeah, this Girona side was one of the poster boys for a team that doesn't make it into Europe typically. And then they overachieve, they make it into Europe, and then they take a massive step down because of the fixture list in the next season in La Liga or whatever respective league they're in. Girona were very close to being relegated pretty much all of last season. We watched it and we were thinking not that it would be a cool thing, but they were in the Champions League and then they get relegated too. I just never heard of that. Disastrous season, but they did survive. So last season in the Champions League, they finished 33rd out of 35 teams in the league phase table, and they lost 7 of their 8 matches. So they will not be in Europe this year, and hopefully they can do better.
Yes, sir. And they are headed up by the Spaniard Michel. He's been there since 2021. And their key players that they had, their top scorer last year was Christian Stuani. The 38-year-old Uruguayan center forward had 11 goals last year with 2 assists to tack onto that. And their assist leader was Miguel Gutierrez, who's a 24-year-old Spaniard left back who had 5 assists and had 1 goal to go with it.
Yeah, and same thing with a couple other teams here. I'm leaving this one up to the Girona friends. If you want to tap in, let us know who's the player to watch. And there wasn't a ton to applaud last season. So you let me know who I need to be watching this coming season. The odds have them 25 plus 2,500 to win La Liga, plus 1,200 to finish in the top 4, and to be relegated is plus 400. So you can see where things are kind of trending. They do bring in probably someone you've heard of before, Thomas Lemar, who was once with Arsenal, now to Atletico Madrid. Word on the street, though, after severely overachieving in the 23-24 season, they finished 3rd. They had the Golden Boot winner with Dovbyk, and Savinho was on the team as well, and they were practically, I mean, they're predictably going to fall off. It wasn't a question in going into last season, but nobody could have predicted the fall from grace to be this far after selling Dovbyk and Savinho. And they sold Dovbyk to Roma, then Savinho headed to Manchester City. They scored 41 less goals, as we talked about. And I just want to reiterate that because that is insane from season to season. And the defense left in 14 more goals. So odds have them finishing between 9 and 11 this year. But even with no European fixtures to muddy the waters, I'll need to see it before I can believe it, because it might have been a one-hit wonder, a flash in the pan, whatever you want to call it, in that 22 or 23-24 season. I mean, they lost 7 of their last 10 matches and barely made it to survival. I think they can slip further down the table and be fighting for relegation again if this trend continues, because nothing that has happened this summer tells me that it's going to be different than the way it ended last year.
Yes, sir. Interesting season for them last season, so they were definitely going to try to have some answers this season. We will see. But moving on, we would go over Levante next, but we did go over them in our Welcome to the League. So go watch that video and then come back to this. Be nice to see. So we will move on forward to our next team, which is Espanyol. Espanyol finished 14th last year. They had 40 goals for, tied for 13th, and 51 goals against. Again, they just got promoted last season, so we don't have anything to compare it with the season before.
And Espanyol's kits, just to shout it out, they look like silk sheets. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it more than that. Like, all of them look like they're made out of silk. It just like looks wavy.
Yeah.
So anyway, but last season wasn't great, as they fought relegation off all season and just about survived with 2 points. They lost 4 of their last 5 games, and the vibes weren't good at all. But they lived to see another day, and we live to see another day too. Okay, let's go.
Yes, sir.
Good transition.
Yeah, their coach is Manolo Gonzalez, the Spaniard. He's been there since 2024. And their key players that they had last season, their top scorer was Javi Puado. There we go. The 27-year-old Spaniard, left winger, had 12 goals and 4 assists. And their assist leader that they had last year, well, there were 3 of them, all with 4 assists, which was Puado, Carreras, and Tejero. I think I said that right. Tejero. Yeah.
Tejero. And if you're watching Espanyol, the bright spot is me messing up now. Javi Puado. He's the captain. He's a leading goal scorer. He's the leading assist leader. And he's pretty much one of the main reasons why they stayed up last year. If you're watching Espanyol, you're watching Javi. The odds for them this season, not looking good, though. Plus 50,000 to win La Liga, plus 4,000 to be in the top 4. And to be relegated, though, plus 175, which is the 4th best odds to be relegated. 4th best worst odds, you get what I'm saying? They had a lot of ins and outs, arrivals and departures. Mostly they just scoured the free transfer market, like who's out of contract and who can we bring in. They actually bring in our boy, 35-year-old Quique Garcia. But let's talk about the word on the street. So basically the odds are saying that if one of the newly promoted teams would like to stay up at the end of the year, they'll need to outpace Espanyol. And the thing about Espanyol this season is that they've recruited some free agents well in the transfer market that I was just talking about, mainly looking at the goals that they can get in from Quique Garcia. If he can get anywhere close to the 13 that he had last season, then they could be good. I think if they do get those goals, though, they probably won't be in the relegation scrap, but I don't think they'll get much further than that. That's how I feel about Espanyol this season.
Solid take. I think I agree with you on that one. So we will go ahead and keep it moving, because the next thing we have to talk about is one of my favorite name teams, Mallorca. That's just a good name. Sounds good, feels good. Mallorca, yeah. But they finished right in the middle, 10th last season. They had 35 goals for, tied for 17th. They had 2 more than they had the year prior. And then goals against was 44, tied for the year prior as well.
And check out their kits. Some of my favorite this season, just in like any league, they just look very clean. Nike does a good job for them. It's just like, right? Really, yeah, just looks good. Good vibes for this Mallorca side. So Mallorca, they finished mid-table last season, but at times it didn't feel that way, because when they lost back-to-back games. They lost back-to-back games 6 different times last season. That was the most. Most of these losses were only by 1 goal, though, so it's not like they were getting blown out. But they were in the top 6 in goals against, was 17th in scoring, and that kind of tells you the story of what's going on with them, or the story of what happened to them last season.
Yes, sir. And their coach, Hagoba, sorry, I put an O in the wrong spot.
Oh, this one's tough.
Arrasate. I want to say that because
There you
it's
go.
Spanish, right? The Spaniard has been there since last year, hoping to turn that around and get them some more goals this next season. They're a top scorer from last year. There were two, which was Sayo Laren and Vedat Mariki. Both had 7 goals and 2 assists. And their assist leader from last year is Danny Rodriguez, a 37-year-old Spanish attacking midfielder, had 7 assists and 4 goals to tackle along with it.
And the player to watch for them going into this season is one Pablo Torre, 22-year-old Spanish attacking midfielder. Torre comes over from Barca with a lot of promise and a lot of talent, but just hasn't been on the pitch enough to show what he can do. He makes the move to Mallorca, and all eyes will be on Pablo Torre this season. Their odds to win La Liga plus 50,000, to finish in the top 4 plus 2,500. So people are saying, don't even worry about that. Just look at the other odds, which is to be relegated. That's plus 450. And again, word on the street for this team, the odds have them finishing around 13th, 14th in the table. And I think they can finish a little above that. They already showed that they have the defensive chops to kind of make games close, even when they were losing them, right? A goal here, a goal there. But if Pablo Torre can come in and get something like 7 goals, 12 assists, something like that, so like not a good season, but not a tremendous season, I think that drastically changes the outlook of this Mallorca side. And maybe I'm out of touch here, but I like their odds of finishing mid-table a little higher than mid-table. I think they can be getting into that, you're going to make fun of me, 8th or 9th place. And I think that's good enough for this Mallorca side. Yeah, and they have some good kits, like all around good vibes from Mallorca.
Yeah, not to mention, I like saying their name, so they should stay in the league so we can keep talking about them. And I can keep saying Mallorca.
Mallorca.
Yeah. And another good name as we move along here is Rayo Vallecano. Rayo Vallecano is our next team we're going to be talking about. They finished 8th last season, doing better overall in goals for and goals against. They had 41 goals for, which is 12 more than previous year, and 45 goals against, which was 3 less.
And last season, this Rayo team was the little engine that could. They barely survived to stay in La Liga in 23-24, and they finished in the freaking Conference League spots in 24-25. Surprise team of the year by far, and what a great season it was for Rayo and their fans.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And their coach is Inigo Perez. The Spaniard has been there since last year, 2024. And their key players that they had last year, their top scorer was Jorge de Frutos. We remember De Frutos. He's a 28-year-old Spaniard, right winger. He had 6 goals and 3 assists to tack on with it. And the assist leader was Alvaro Garcia. He's 32 years old, Spaniard, left winger. He had 5 assists with 4 goals to go with it.
Yeah, and the player to watch for this team is Randy Enteca, which I don't know why I just love that last name. It just sounds like gangster. I don't know. Randy Enteca, 27-year-old Angolan attacking mid. He had 3 goals last season with Sevilla, but Enteca, he may not have a numbers-wise or consistency-wise be great. I mean, that's not a good way to start this player to watch. But you just hear me out. He was an unused sub a bunch of the time in the second half of the season. He was injured a lot. He got suspended, but I promise when he does play, he's just a big bully up front in the midfield. He's fun to watch. He bangs in goals. And when Enteca is healthy and on it, he's going to be the guy you want to watch for this Vallecano side, especially they're going into Europe this season. Their odds in in La Liga, plus 70,000 to win it all, plus 4,000 to finish in the top 4, and plus 350 to be relegated. And looking at the bookies, word on the street, the bookies think that this last season was a flash in the pan for Rayo, as they see him finishing between 15th and 17th and fighting to survive, which is kind of disrespectful, but it makes sense. They already did this song and dance in 23-24, and now they have the Conference League to worry about. When I say the song and dance, they were in the relegation scrap. So I think they'll need to build that squad out a bit more when the European or before the European season kicks off, because if they don't, I could definitely see them fighting for their lives to stay in La Liga. We've just seen it happen too much. I've said it so much on these podcasts recently, but a team that hasn't been in Europe, going into Europe for the first time in a while, they tend to slip down in the table. And yeah, it's not good for a team that has barely stayed in La Liga recently.
Yes, sir. We will see lots of answers to be answered.
Questions.
There you go. A lot of answers to be given, I think is what I was trying to say.
There you
Either
go.
way, I mess it up. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Thank you for saving me there, Snooze. And we will go ahead and move forward with our next team, which is Real Betis. Real Betis finished 6th last year. They had 9 more goals than the year prior with 57, which was 6th best overall last season, and 50 goals against, but that is 5 more than they gave up the previous season.
Yeah, one of the darlings of Europe to finish out last season, as they almost crept into the Champions League spots and they lost in the Conference League final to Chelsea. But once Isco was back healthy and Antony came over in the winter window from Manchester United, this team was on fire and their matches were appointment television. Everybody was watching Real Betis at the end of the year. This was a Cinderella story. I don't know if you can call it a Cinderella story because they were they weren't like a horrible odds to win it. But either way, they were an underdog to Chelsea in the final. Everybody was going for them except for Chelsea fans. And then, of course, Cole Palmer happened because he's really good. And they will be back in the Europa League, or they will be back in Europe, this time in the Europa League.
Yes, sir. And they're headed up by Manuel Pellegrini, the Chilean. He's been there since 2020. And their key player to watch from, or not to watch, but from last season. Their top scorer is Isco, the 33-year-old Spaniard attacking midfielder, had 9 goals. And he is also your assist leader with 8 assists last year.
Yeah, the player to watch for this team, though, obviously Isco is one of them, but you don't want to give him everything around here. Giovanni Lo Celso, the 29-year-old Argentine attacking midfielder, he had 8 goals and 3 assists last season. Gio, he's electric when he's on the pitch. He's injured often, and that kind of is the knock on him. But he had 5 separate injuries that caused him to miss time last season. Like, not the same one, but like 5 different instances of an injury that kept him out. And if he can pull a full 25-26 season, Betis might not miss Antony that much, because even though he missed all that time, he still got 8 goals and 3 assists. The odds for them this season, plus 8,000 to win it, plus 300 to be in the top 4, which really good odds to finish in the top 4 for them. They bring in a couple of different pieces. I don't know if there's much to kind of call out, but word on the street for this team, Betis are expected to finish, it says odds say 6th, and like they did last season. So that's a couple of different ways to look at it from my perspective. On one hand, they should have a healthy Gio Lo Celso and Isco heading into the new campaign. But on the other hand, they did lose Antony, who he was on loan, so they were going to lose him anyway. But they also lost Cardoso. And so 5 times they finished, the 5 teams above them that finished above them are going to be hard to catch. I don't know if that's going to happen. So 6th seems about even, because losing Antony and Cardoso, gaining a couple of other pieces, maybe they finish where they finished last season. I feel like we all want them to be better, but I'm just looking at the squad and the info, and it doesn't feel that way. Yeah. And also I hate their away and their third kits. I've just got to say that they're, for some reason, like it's like a mint or like a turquoise in their green. I don't know. Their home kits are fine, but anyway. So yeah, I wanted to come in here and say that Real Betis would be better, finishing better anyway, but I can't. I just can't.
I think you don't like him because Betis has like a distinct green. That's Real Betis, right? And these two away kit, or the away kit and the third kit, are not that green. And it's just weird. I don't like it. I don't like it. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like, why do they decide to use that random blue color? It's so weird.
No idea. Yeah, no idea. It's like seafoam green. Anyway, take a look at it. Yeah, and let us know what you guys think down in the comments down below. We'll let you know and talk to you guys. But we'll go ahead and move on. I'm sure everybody's waiting as we get to Real Madrid. Real Madrid finished 2nd last season. They had 78 goals for, 38 goals against. Both were less than they had the season prior, with 9 fewer goals for and 12 more goals against.
Yes, they finished 2nd in the Liga, and they were beaten by Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, and they lost 4 El Clásicos. So pretty miserable season by Madridistas standards. But Mbappe and the team started to click late, and they were extremely fun to watch. And I felt like they would have been a little bit further in the Champions League. But in the Champions League, they lost to Lille, Milan, and Liverpool. And they had to play in that was in the league phase. And they had to play in the round of 16 playoffs or whatever it was. Like, it wasn't the round of 16. It was the playoffs to get in to the round of 16. Eventually, they were bounced by Arsenal in the quarterfinals. And because they finished 2nd, they will be back in the Champions League like always. But last season, hoping to rinse that taste out of their mouth.
Yeah, I totally forgot about losing 4 El Clásicos. That's crazy. But uh, hopefully, their new coach Xabi Alonso will treat them better and hopefully get them some wins for the Mil Clásicos. He's a Spaniard, just joined this past summer. And of course, their top scorer from last season is Kylian Mbappe. He had 31 goals, the Frenchman, the 26-year-old Frenchman center forward, and also assisted 3 times as well. The assist leader that we had last season is Vinicius Jr. He's a 25-year-old Brazilian left winger, had 10 assists and also 11 goals to go with it. So doing great on both ends.
And we're not going to give you a player to watch for Real Madrid. You know who to watch. You can just choose one. Bellingham, Vinicius, Mbappe, like whoever. The main thing, though, that I think everybody's going to be watching is Xabi Alonso, because it's a big deal to see how he's going to do with this team. Ancelotti left. It's Xabi's time. He had a great run with Leverkusen. Does that translate to La Liga? And Real Madrid is just kind of on a league of their own with Barcelona. So we'll see. The odds, like I said earlier, they are the favorite to win La Liga, plus or minus 135 favorites. And of course, they're going to finish in the top 4. It's crazy. Minus 10,000 odds to finish in the top 4. Like they're basically like, don't put money on this. They're going to finish there. But the I guess the changing that they had is pretty crazy from last season. I don't think there's the word on the street here. I mean, I don't think there's a more intriguing storyline in Europe than Xabi Alonso taking over Real Madrid and how it all might work out. For the way that they were dominated by Barca last year in all competitions, to have Madrid as favorites going into this year is just crazy to me. I mean, if they think that Xabi coming in, he's just going to take this team to an elite level, but then also better than the team that beat them 4 times last season, I don't know I don't know why. Maybe I need to put money on Barca. That's what it's sounding like. But they bring in Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth. They also get TAA, Trent Alexander-Arnold for Liverpool. They lose.
There's your answer right there, bro. You bring Liverpool talent anywhere, you're the favorite to win.
Hey, I'm just saying. They do lose Luka Modric and Lucas Vazquez, who have been there for a while now. So maybe they can. I mean, they're going to be fine without them. What am I going to say here? Okay. Yeah. Real Madrid, just crazy stuff. I hope they do good. I'm going to be excited to watch them, but to put them above Barcelona just off the bat is insane.
Yeah. Especially how Lamine Yamal is looking recently in all competitions, honestly. But yeah, moving forward, we will go ahead and get off the Real Madrid train. And it's the second of our 4 Real teams. The third one is Real Oviedo, which we already talked about in our Welcome to the League episode. Please go watch that and let us know what you think. So we will move forward to Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad finished 11th last year. They had 35 goals for, which was 16 less than the year prior, and 46 goals against, which is 7 more. Yeah, 16 less. Crazy. 35 goals. There's what, 38 games? That sucks. Yeah, that sucks. Yeah.
That means that if you went to go watch them, you're just like, oh, this is like such a
please score one. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So honestly, I could not figure them out last season. It felt like they could never get going and string together results. If they get a win or a good draw, they would never be able to stack results. They have a squad that's good enough to do some damage in La Liga. They just haven't done it. And they're used to finishing in the European spots. They fall to 11th last season. And I think it's time for a change and a bit of a refresher. And last season, they were in the round of 16 in the Europa League, and they were knocked out by Manchester United. He just took the best teams out. Like, no big deal. They will not be back in Europe this next season, though, because they finished 11th. So,
yes, and they have a new coach that just joined this summer, the Spaniard Sergio Francisco. He joined after Alguacil.
It's like a tough name, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he told everybody he was leaving at the end of the season, and so they promoted Francisco, who had risen in the ranks of the Real Sociedad C and B team. So, yeah, the key players that they had from last year. Top scorer was Mikel Oyarzabal. There we go. The 28-year-old Spaniard center forward had 9 goals and 3 assists. And of course, their assist leader was Sergio Gomez, 24-year-old Spaniard left winger, had 5 assists with 2 goals to tack on to it.
And the player to watch for them is for sure Takefusa Kubo, 24-year-old Japanese right winger. He scored 5 goals for them last season, which honestly, he's not a lot. The little tricky winger, though, he's electric on the ball, entertaining to watch, always fun to see how he's going to do. But he didn't have a great season as far as contributions in goals last season. Hopefully, he can pick it up and become more of a producer. And maybe that's why they were, 16 less goals, because Kubo kind of had a down season for them. To win La Liga is plus 10,000, finish in the top 4, plus 600, and to be relegated, plus 2,000, meaning that they expect them to be somewhere in that top 4, top 6 range. But let's talk about the word on the street. Their actual odds have them sitting somewhere around 7th place in the table after finishing 11th in the 24-25 season. The main issue was their goal scoring, as we keep talking about. They didn't even have a double-digit goal scorer. You know that because we said Oyarzabal was their top goal scorer, and he had 9. They were 17th in goals against. No, they were 17th in goals for, 8th in goals against is what I'm trying to say. Sorry. But it just seems like the odds are betting that Oyarzabal and Kubo have better seasons, because obviously you tack on maybe, 10 to 12 more goals. There's a lot of results that can come with those. I guess you can see it happening, but a new coach, no new offensive signings. You're kind of just hoping that those players become better, and maybe they do. But Oyarzabal is getting a little older, and I don't know if Kubo can do it all by himself. It just seems like a lot to put on their plate. I feel like they're going to have a bit of a slip. I mean, they already slipped, so 11th. I feel like finishing mid-table is probably primed again for them, and not so much like the 7th place finish that the odds are putting. That's how I feel.
Yeah, let's see. Season's coming up pretty soon. It'll be here before you know it. Have some answers for those questions that we had. And we will keep moving forward, as the next team we are going to be talking about is Sevilla. Sevilla finished just above the relegation zone, 17th last season. They had 42 goals for, which was 6 less than they had the year prior, and 55 goals against, which was 1 more than they had the year before.
And they were our most disappointing team from last season for a good reason. Finishing 17th for a team of this size is never good. The fact that Sevilla were celebrating that they survived the relegation scrap and were staying up tells you all you need to know about how the once European giants had and how they did in the 24-25 season.
Yes, and finishing 17th is more than enough reason to have a new coach this year. You have Matias Almeida, the Argentine, just joined this past summer, so hoping to get some results from him. The key players that they had last year, their top scorer from last season is Dodi Lucebacchio. Lucebacchio. I don't know why I put a Z in there. There's not a Z anywhere. Lucebacchio. He's a 27-year-old Belgian right winger. He had 11 goals and 2 assists to tack on with it. And the assist leader that they had last season is Saul Niguez.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Niguez. Anyway, 30-year-old Spaniard center midfielder. He had 6 assists and 1 goal to go with it.
Yeah, and the player to watch for this Sevilla side, there wasn't a lot to watch, but whenever Lucebacchio was on it, he was good. He just seems to be the spark anytime that Sevilla needed it. I mean, obviously not all the time because they didn't do well, but whenever they did have a spark and they needed a spark, he was the one who started that. So he'll be their talisman again. You'll probably want to watch him. The odds this season, plus 25,000 to win it, plus 1,600 to finish in the top 4, and plus 550 to be relegated, which decent odds. Word on the street for this team. This is another one that the odds are crazy on. Sevilla comes in with the best odds to finish between 10th and 11th in the table. But the past 3 seasons, they've gotten progressively worse, finishing 12th in 2022, 2023, 14th in 23-24, and then now 17th in 24-25. They sacked 2 managers last season. Almeida is their 3rd manager since June of 2024. They haven't brought anyone in to improve their squad, but yet they think that Sevilla is climbing up to mid-table. I don't see it. Honestly, that seems crazy to me. Maybe there's something I'm missing. Maybe the Sevilla fans can tell us what's going on, but it feels like Sevilla are going to be closer to being in that relegation scrap between 15th, 17th. I mean, obviously 15th through 20th could be. But now I don't think they go down. Until I see it, I won't believe it. But I do feel like they're not going to be a team at the mid-table point.
Well, we'll see it. Maybe this is a good time for you to get that plus 550 bet to be relegated. Make some money for you. Mm-hmm. And we will go ahead and move on from Sevilla to our next team, next to last, which is Valencia. Valencia finished 12th place last year. They had 44 goals for, which was 4 more than they had the year prior. And they had 54 goals against, which was actually 9 more than they had the year prior.
Yeah, they had a weird season too. Valencia, they dealt with a lot of adversity on and off the pitch in that community with the floods happening earlier in the year. And halfway through the season, it was looking very likely that Valencia would be going down, but they sacked Baraja and bring in Carlos Corberan, and the results kind of followed whenever he took on the team. In their last 9 games, they went unbeaten and won 5 of those games. They end right below mid-table and look to keep the forward momentum in the 25-26 season.
Yes, and as you said, Snooze, the Spaniard Carlos Corberan joined the team December 2024, right before the new year, and finished the season with them. And they were doing pretty good, pretty bad for a little bit, Valencia was. So I guess he turned it around a little bit. Their top scorer from last season is Hugo Duro. I like that. 25-year-old Spaniard center forward had 11 goals to tack on 3 assists with it. And their assist leader is Diego Lopez, the 23-year-old Spaniard right winger, had 5 assists and 8 goals.
Yeah, Diego Lopez is definitely the player to watch for this team. He was a huge part of the reason Valencia made their run towards mid-table after being in the relegation scraps all year. My notes here was just flipped out. I mean, he scored a goal in 4 straight games in March, and he's only getting better. I mean, he's 23 years old, so this guy is going to be really good for them this season. And if he is, I think they can do some great things. To win La Liga, plus 25,000 for Valencia. The top 4 finish is plus 1,600, and to be relegated, plus 650. So word on the street, Valencia's odds in the table have them finishing right with Sevilla at 10 and 11. But unlike Sevilla, Valencia was a team that did show promise, and they improved. So after all is said and done, the craziness behind them, they were starting to grind out results at a pretty good rate. They were a tough out at any team coming into the Mestalla, and they went from March to May without losing a match and stacking momentum. And although they did lose a couple of games towards the end of the season, I think the momentum is on their side. And with Duro and Lopez, as we just talked about, I think they can be in for a fun season. I'm actually looking forward to it. And their third kit, they went back to like the crazy red, white, and red, blue, and yellow stuff. Yeah. Like they had this a few years ago, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It looks weird. I like it. It's their crest colors.
It looks like candy. I don't know.
Yeah.
We do remember Valencia last year. They had those terrible floods and everything. And they also were doing pretty bad in the table. So it was just pretty low for a while. So for them to turn it around and get out of that relegation, it was a pretty nice story for them last year. Absolutely. And they're hoping to keep it out of the relegation zone again this year. So moving forward, we will go ahead and go with our last team that we're going to go over for La Liga, which is Villareal. Villareal finished 5th last year. They had 71 goals for it, which was 3rd best in the league, and is 6 more than they had the year prior. And they had 51 goals against. It was tied for 11th, so a little bit more defense maybe could have got them into those Champions League spots, or top 4 anyway. But they actually gave up 14 less goals than they had the year prior.
Yeah, and they had a terrific season last year. We talked about it a couple of times because of players they've lost, so we'll get into more of that in a second. But they were just super consistent with the results. And even though their attacking stars were in and out of the lineup as far as health is concerned, ultimately they end in 5th and in the Champions League spot with one of the most exciting squads outside of the top 3 in La Liga.
Yes, sir. And their coach has been there since 2023, the Spaniard Marcelino. Been there since 2023. And their key players that they had from last year, their top scorer was Ayose Perez, the 32-year-old Spaniard center forward, had 19 goals and 2 assists. Not bad, sir.
I can't believe he's 32. I feel like he's still like the young guy for Newcastle. Like, what? 32 years? That's crazy. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, doing good, man. Not to mention their assist leader was Alex Baena. He was a 24-year-old Spaniard left winger, had 10 assists and 7 goals to go with it.
Damn, I took a drink at the wrong time.
My bad.
It's all good. And a player to watch for them, Yermi Pino. He's a 22-year-old Spanish right winger. Last season, 8 assists and 4 goals. So at 22 years old, Pino is a full-time player for Villarreal for one of the most electric attacks in La Liga this season. I think it's like the 5th time I've called that because electric is the way to describe them. They were fun to watch. A couple of pieces being shipped out this summer. I think he's going to have to take a bigger step and bigger responsibility on the team. And I'm excited to see what Pino does this season. The odds have them finishing before we get there, the odds to win the league are plus 6,500 and to finish in the top 4 plus 200. And of course, we can't talk about Villareal without talking about the pieces that they lost, which is we talked about Everton taking Tierno Berry from them, and then also Alex Baena. And so they bring in a couple pieces, mostly Alberto Moledo, but we'll talk about that here in a second, because the word on the street for this team, odds have them finishing as a top 5 team, not first, second, third, or fourth, to tell you that. So finishing right at 5. Looking at the teams above them, though, Barca, Madrid, athleticclub, the only one that I can really see them catching, and I don't want to say with confidence because maybe they're going to be better this season as well, is athleticclub. But this would have been way different had they not shipped off Baena and Berry. I think they would have been probably trying to catch up to Atleti. But those 2 players alone accounted for 32 goal contributions last season. So they just sold off 32 goal contributions. And now they brought in a couple pieces. Like I mentioned earlier, Moledo for Las Palmas, Buchanan from Inter. But I don't think those are on the same level as Berry and Baena were for them last season. So yeah, they can finish 5th. But I was hoping that they would keep the band together so we can see them do a little bit more damage, not only in the league, in La Liga, but also in the Champions League.
Yeah, we will see. Going to be fun to watch. Season's coming up.
Season's
coming up. Yep, we're done there. Season's coming up.
Let's go. Take us home, sir.
Yeah, again, everyone, we appreciate your time, taking some time with us to talk about some European football, La Liga here. We are also going to be doing the Premier League. We're doing Bundesliga. We're doing Serie A. So be sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you get all of those as soon as they drop. And we will all talk to you very soon.
Peace.